Yo, what's going on, people? It's your boy Huncho, back at you again with another video. So, as you guys will know, we've been covering crime-related coronavirus news on my channel, more specifically people spitting and coughing on people while claiming to have the coronavirus. Thankfully, we've seen no fatalities so far, and it just seems like people are using it as some kind of scare tactic against police, key workers, and members of the public. Now, if you guys have been keeping up to date with my channel and the news that's covered it so far, then you'll know that the Crown Prosecution Service is giving around up to a year in jail, and we have seen people in fact jailed for these offences. Now, the last video I did covering this was the video of a man spitting bloody spit at a policewoman when they attempted to arrest him, and I've seen quite a lot of different people over different social media platforms go on to say, well, why did the police officer cry? She's supposed to be a police officer, shouldn't she tough it out? And I can kind of see what they're saying, but trust me, everybody's human, and coronavirus is a pretty bad way to go out if you end up catching it and end up dying from it. So again, so far we haven't seen anyone spit or cough on a key worker or members of the public and then that person go on to contract the virus. But that was up until yesterday when news broke that a woman by the name of Belly Mujina contracted the virus when someone spat at her while she was working at London's Victoria Station. On the 22nd of March 2020, Belly, along with her colleague, were on shift as ticket office staff for GoFundMe Thameslink Railway Southern at London's Victoria Station. While they were out by the ticket office, they were assaulted by a member of the public who spat at them, and then he proceeded to cough over them while claiming he had the virus. Both Belly and a colleague were shaken by the experience and went into the ticket office to report the incident, also asking for the police to be called. She was that scared from the incident, she'd pleaded not to be sent back outside and asked to instead work from inside the ticket office. As they were getting more concerned for their safety, Belly and now her colleague once again asked to be allowed to work inside with a protective barrier between them and the public for the rest of the day, but management said they needed people working outside and sent them back out for the rest of their shift. After completing their shift, exposed to the public, they would go home for the night, and within days of the assault, both women had felt ill with the virus. Belly had underlying respiratory problems, being diagnosed with the lung condition sarcoidosis, which causes shortness of breath and a persistent dry cough, which she had time off work for in the past. She also had to have an operation as well as regular hospital appointments, and on the 25th of March 2020, her doctor phoned her workplace up and insisted she was stood down from work. It should be noted that her employer knew about her condition 3 years prior to the incident, but up until the doctor rang, she still had to go work because work wouldn't stand her down. As the days went on, Belly's condition grew worse and she was taken to Barnet Hospital by ambulance on the 2nd of April 2020. She was then put on a ventilator, but had sadly passed away 3 days later on the 5th of April 2020, and at that point it would have been 14 days after the initial incident had occurred. Her funeral was held on the 29th of April 2020, and only 10 people were allowed to attend, and it was reported that she leaves an 11-year-old daughter behind. Now, as it currently stands, reports say that it's uncertain whether the spitting incident is directly connected to her getting the virus, but the British Transport Police have now opened an investigation to the incident. And even though the incident did happen weeks ago, obviously recently it's come out in the news, and obviously reporters went to go and speak to Belly's family, and this is what Belly's husband had to say surrounding this whole situation.
Lusamba has lost his wife.
Not feel good. It's a terrible situation.
He worries for their 11-year-old daughter.
She don't talk anything. If you say, hi, you okay? Yes, but Dad, it's okay. I don't know. For the future, I don't know.
Now, of course, the news has been circulating globally because this is one of the first incidents of its type, at least here in the UK anyway, and Prime Minister Boris Johnson would go on to say this.
And yesterday, Mr. Speaker, this House learnt of the tragic death of Belly Mujina. The fact that she was abused for doing her job is utterly appalling. My thoughts, and I'm sure the thoughts of the whole House, are with her family.
Now, what should be noted is that Belly nor her colleague were given PPE to protect themselves while at work, and even by the end of March, realistically they still should have been given some kind of protective gear if they were going out to interact with the public. Also, if our employers knew about her health conditions, an investigation needs to be opened into those guys, because with her health conditions, why is she being put out to work outside with the public? And because she's medically classed as vulnerable, which they knew, why wasn't she top priority over anybody else? That is what I don't really understand. Now, what's really annoyed me in this whole situation is the fact that the police have took so long to open an investigation, and it's not even a murder investigation. I don't care if you don't know if it's connected or not. You need to open up a murder case to get to the bottom of this, because there's potentially a killer roaming around on the streets that has potentially coughed on even more people. And again, I know this is new waters for the police, but at the end of the day, even if there's the slightest suspicion that it's murder, then a murder case needs to be opened. Again, some real scumbags out there that feel the need to spit their dirty spit at people who are literally just trying to do a hard day's living. They should be ashamed of themselves, and unfortunately Belly went on to lose her life in this situation. Now, I do want to pay my respects and say rest in peace to Belly, and my condolences do go out to her family right now, because I know she's left an 11-year-old daughter behind, and I can't really imagine what it's like for her and her family right now. Imagine being 11 years old, right, and growing up without a mum who was taken away because somebody decided to cough and spit on them over this whole coronavirus pandemic. And I really do hope that justice gets served in this situation, and there is a GoFundMe link which I'll leave linked down in the description. Feel free to go and check that out, and if donating is something that you can do, then that would be appreciated massively. But let me know what you guys think of this in the comment section below. Give the video a little like, and if you want the latest drill, street and music news out of the UK, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. It's been your boy Huncho, and I'm out.